Lawrence Tam here from lawrencetam.com, and today's video is going to be the very first episode. I'm going to be doing some shows here right now, and I wanted to kind of do some episodes that are a little bit more longer but more focused in terms of helping you become more profitable and also more freedom in practice. Let's face it, the last couple of months have been kind of crazy for all of us. And all businesses, no matter what part of the world you're in, you have actually had some, crazy times. And we also had to go through this period of time trying to figure out exactly how do we restart your business back into this normality. And the challenges, of course, right now we face is that, from a chiropractic perspective, is that chiropractors are worried about the unknown. We're not sure what's going to happen because we're not sure about how the future is going to uphold, how the economy is going to uphold, whether patients are going to be coming back, whether the patients are going to be ready to come back or willing to come back, even though they need us. And you don't know that, and that unpredictability is going to cause us to really challenge us to kind of think differently and think outside the box. So what we need to do is prepare for the new normal. But one of the key elements of actually restarting your business or rebuilding the business that you've had is to kind of reframe some of the thinking. And one of the most important things is that, in my mind, is about your mindset, because the mindset of how you carry yourself between now and into the future will dictate everything that you do between here and also how you're going to perform in the near future. So what I would love for you to consider is to think about what kind of success mindset do you need to have in order for you to rebuild this business. Because let's face it, the reality is that the challenging times are ahead of us. We don't know whether we're going to go into a recession or depression, and those things we need to kind of reconsider, rethink the way we thought about business and rethink the way how we built our practice. And the big question you need to be thinking about is the practice you want to build in the future the exact practice you want to build right now? I don't know. That's something to really think about, because that will challenge you, because that will stop you from actually rebuilding for rebuilding's sake. What I think is important here is to actually rebuild a business the way you want it, because this period of time has allowed us to have a clean slate, right? To allow you to think through about building the practice to actually have more fulfillment, have more freedom, right? And allow you to be able to be happier. That's what we want to do, because I know that in my life, that anytime that I spoken to chiropractors from all around the world, what really people want is that they don't want to work harder. What they really want is they want to have a practice that they love being able to service of others. They want to be able to be able to be there to be able to communicate the health and wellness paradigm, and more importantly, they want to make an impact in the communities. And all of that, they want to do that in a way that is non-stressful, but allows them to feel like they made a contribution. And what ends up happening, I find a lot of people, is they build a business or a practice that is actually someone else's dreams. And so today I want you to help you rethink that model and help you kind of have the mindset you need to have as you start to rethink about the rebuilding process. Whether you've been closed, you're just starting to come back into practice, or you've always been in practice during this whole period of time. There's a mindset I believe that would be helpful for you to kind of rethink this process, because I think helping you understand that process will be very, very a clear understanding of exactly where do we take this from here on in. So let's kind of dive into some of the key strategies of what we can do right now to help you rethink the success mindset to help you rebuild this practice. So let's talk about this. The element of this is that what we ultimately, everybody wants is that we want to have results, right? Everybody wants a result. The majority of the time I find that most people's results are that they want is that they want to know that they are making an impact or making a difference in their community. At the end of the day, though, the results can differ from person to person, but because success is really determined by each individual person. It's not just one person, not one individual way of measuring success. Everybody has a different measurement. And so I think we got to be very clear on what's the result you're trying to bring, because that result will dictate everything you do, because it affects the second process, right? The second thing is that we need to have, in order for you to get any results in business or in life, or maybe you want to get healthier, everything needs a process. You need to have a certain process to kind of get you to where you want to go. And if you want a certain result in life, whether it be losing weight, gaining more money, or having more freedom or more security, all of that requires you to have a successful process. Everybody, if anybody wants to say lose weight, they have a process of actually, how to do that, eating clean food, exercising, so on and so forth. We all know that as chiropractors. What we got to decide is what's the process going to right for us based on the result we're trying to achieve. But what stops us from happening is that we can have the right process to get to the results, but the main thing that has to happen for all of us is that we need to have the right identity. Because without a proper identity of who you actually are, making sure you're clear on the person you're at, the person you are, and what you're aligned to, there's no way you're going to be able to build a process that's you're going to continue that process during tough times to get the results that you want. So we got to be very, very clear, right, on the identity and the person you actually have. Most people, if you're going to really want to make sure you have a successful business, and the success mindset you need to have is that you got to be driven. You got to have hunger, and that hunger has to come from a place of not just service yourself, but the service of others. And this is why this model really is important, because what happens is that in order for us to be able to have in order for us to have the results, we are taking care of others, right? This is the others area. We're thinking about others. And in order for us to be driven by a process, we need a team. We need a team to kind of support us. We need a team to help us kind of get to where we need to go. And in order for us to change, to have that right identity, we need to kind of think about ourselves. We need to think about, we got to get clear on the identity of who we are. We need to identify what's that person, what's going to person like, so that we actually can really influence the team that we want to lead, and then therefore create the impact that we want to make. That's what we ultimately really want. Now, it starts with us. We have to be figuring out is, are we driven enough? Do we have the hunger enough? Are we willing to grow and sacrifice to create the things we want? And this is why it's so important to rethink this, because if you start thinking about all the things that you need to do and all the things you should be doing, it's not like you don't know what to do. It's not like you don't know what things you have to do. It's like very much like losing weight. Everybody knows what they need to do, but the problem is that they're not willing to necessarily do the things that's necessary to lose the weight. And this is why it's so important for us to think about the results. And so here's the thought process that you need to think about. Number one is that first thing I would suggest is that you need to align your results. And what I mean by that is the result that you want aligned to really what you actually trying to crave for or trying to achieve? Because let's face it, we can actually go after all these results you want, but if they're not aligned with the person that you are, then it's really going to be a very difficult road or mountain to climb. You got to be very clear in that the result that you want, the hours you want to work, and the dedication you need to have is this something you're trying to achieve. Most people are looking for results, like say a certain amount of growth or scaling their business isn't exactly what they want. They think they want that, but they don't really want it. And that's why I think this is the perfect opportune time with this whole COVID stuff. It allows you to rethink. Do you really want to work 5 days a week or 3 days a week? One of my clients, came out of this COVID and said, you know what? Screw this. I am working 2 days a week and that's all I really want. This is awesome. This is great because they're very, very clear and adamant of what they actually see, what the importance of a level of value to them is. And you got to decide. Some people will come out of this and go, you know what? I'm playing small. I need to play bigger and I'm going to learn how to scale. The thing is that it doesn't matter what the definition of successes mean for other people. What matters to me or what matters to you is your definition of success for you. And that's the ultimate challenge that you need to kind of figure out. Now, in order for us to kind of create that results, obviously, what you got to come back to is you got to identify with yourself. And the self is that you got to figure out what you need to control. And what I would suggest is that rather than be reactive is being responsive. Right? Because what happens here is that most people during these circumstances, they're trying to be reactive. They're reacting to what the government tells us what we can or cannot do. They're being reactive to all the situation, how patients are reacting in fear and society. That's being reactive. That doesn't help you because you can't control people's emotions. You can't, just like you can't control the weather. What most important thing right now is you got to be responsive, which means that you need to respond. How are you going to respond to these things that are happening around you? No one wanted COVID to hit. No one wanted this to happen to our economy. No one wanted this to affect our livelihood. But the reality is it's happening. So it's your choice how do you respond to the situation and you control the things you can control. We got to stop trying to control things that are outside of our control, right? Because we can't influence that. What you can control is everything that you can and take actions every single day. And once you get done that, then you have the right mindset moving forward because you're driven, you got hunger, you want the result that you want. And now all you need to do is figure out is how do I connect now, right? The process. The process is that, how do I connect the process that's going to get me to the identity of who I am to the results that I actually want? The thing is that the process is the most important thing. We don't know how long this is going to take, right? We don't know how long this is going to take because this is huge. The reality is that the huge amount is that the reality is that we have to learn how to get clear, right, from the alignment model of exactly what you're trying to achieve to exactly what we're being responsible for. Once you hear in your mindset, then we got to connect the process. The process is the thing that we got to focus on. We don't know it's going to take you 1 week, 1 month, or 10 months, or it might take you a couple years. But the people who are become successful are not lost in results. What they're lost in, what they focus on, is their focus on the process. The process is what matters. Process is what makes everything better. And process is because it keeps your heads down and focused. Because when you're hungry, you focus on the process. You focus on the things, the step to step, getting you to the daily grind of actually moving forward to your achievement of your goals. That is what we're trying to achieve, and that's what we're always trying to achieve. But that's a success mindset of every entrepreneur, every business owner. You got to be very, very clear on exactly what you're actually trying to achieve, who you are, and then identifying the plan and the process that kind of gets you there. Once you are clear on that, then you have the ABC model of exactly getting closer to what you want. But the thing is this, ultimately what you got to decide is this. The decision you need to make is the thing worthy of enough? Is that thing, the result, the goal or whatever the dream you actually have, is that what I really, truly, truly want? Because if you don't want it, don't start the process. Because it's a waste of time, it's wasting your energy, and more than anything, you're going to end up with regret. We don't want that. What I want you to have is go be very clear on exactly what I want. And guess what? That result that you want doesn't have to be the same. It doesn't have to be the same as everybody else. Your definition of success is your definition of success. That's the ultimate key. You have the life that you want, the dream that you want. If you want to work 2 days a week, awesome. You want to work 5 days a week, great. You want to see 300 patients a week, amazing. It doesn't matter. Don't just grow and scale for growing and scaling's sake. I made that mistake many times in the past, trying to grow and scale and trying to earn all this money. But really, at the end of the day, I just want to be with my family. And the end of the time is that you got to make that decision. You understand that whatever you're trying to go after has its consequences. Be very clear of understanding what you want. You can see the good stuff, but making sure you understand the consequence and sacrifice you actually have to make. Decide now, at this moment in time, is it, what do I want to do? Do I want to work the same amount of hours I used to work before COVID happened? Do I want to have the same team that I wanted to have before COVID? Do I want to work the same style, the technique, the practice, the business model? Is that the same how I wanted to work before COVID? This is the decision you all have the opportunity to make. You got to make that decision, and it starts now. Getting that clarity will help you, and then making sure that alignment, then you're able to then create that process. So I hope this has been helpful to you. Focus on the things you need to do. Focus on being responsive, not being reactive. Focus on the results that you want, get that clarity, and then the process. Focus on the process. Every single coach in sports always talk about the process, and that process will go a very, very long way. If you want help with that, go to lawrencetam.com. Let me see if I can help you. But guys, these ABC models will create this mindset that you need to have to rebuild any business from here on in, because we're all starting from a blank state, and this blank state allows you to create that acceleration towards the unknown. The beautiful part is none of us know exactly what's going to happen in the future, but the beautiful part is that you have this opportunity to change, to pivot, to move in the direction that whatever you want to create. Be an artist. Be someone to be a creator, and start creating the practice of your dreams, the life of your dreams. Go and start to create everything that you want to have. This is the time to take massive action.
It's all well and good to have a successful practice, but in the grand scheme of things, I want to make an impact.
The biggest thing that it's enabled me to do is to develop better relationships with people.
The reason I joined was because I was feeling a bit isolated in practice.
Now I feel like I have a tribe.
Lawrence definitely provides a really good insight from outside of my square.
You really start to find your true identity. When you're part of a group that supports you, which is what I feel Nitro does, you get some quality results.
I was caught up in the hustle side of chiropractic, so now having that freedom, still being just as busy and even more successful.
I think that we all elevate and rise together.
It really allows me to face my own fears and blockages. It's about being with like-minded people, but being about people who want the same thing, which is like this willingness to support each other and hold each other accountable at the same time.
We went from seeing an average of 140, 150 people to seeing now 250 people.
I do have the confidence to, have that voice and make those changes, and I definitely wouldn't have been able to do that without Nitro.
It's not trying to create me to be something else. It's trying to create me to be the best version of me.